There's a quiet crisis happening today. Not loud, not dramatic, just a slow, growing sense of confusion that sits in the minds of millions of young men. A feeling that something is missing. A feeling that life is happening, but not to you. Like you're watching your own existence from a distance. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Psychologists have a name for what many young men are experiencing: identity diffusion. It's a stage where you haven't fully figured out who you are, but the world keeps acting like you already should. By 18, you're supposed to know your career. By 20, you're supposed to have confidence. By 25, you're supposed to have money, achievements, direction. And when you don't, it creates a kind of silent panic. Not enough to scream about, but enough to sit in your chest every morning when you wake up, and every night before you sleep. Men are told to figure it out, but rarely told how. Modern life gives young men more stimulation than any generation before, but less genuine connection. It's easy to get attached to things: your phone, your games, your habits, your escapes. But connection, real connection, requires vulnerability, and vulnerability is exactly what men are taught to avoid. So you get this strange imbalance: a mind full of noise, but a heart that feels strangely hollow, connected to everything, yet bonded to nothing. Scrolling through social media feels harmless, but psychologically, it creates a vicious loop. You see people your age traveling, succeeding, living a life that feels cinematic. Meanwhile, you're sitting in your room, wondering why your life doesn't look like theirs. Comparison used to happen once in a while. Now it happens every time you open your phone. And the brain wasn't built for that. It interprets every image as a reminder that you're behind, even if you're not. This constant comparison drains confidence before confidence even has a chance to grow. One of the biggest psychological gaps young men face today is the absence of guidance. Historically, boys grew into men through direct mentorship, not lectures, but example. Today, many young men grow up learning from strangers on the internet, or nobody at all. Without mentorship, you end up trying to solve problems you've never been taught to understand. You improvise adulthood. You guess your way through decisions. And when things go wrong, you assume it's your fault, instead of realizing you were never given the tools. Psychologists say the longer you avoid something, the bigger and scarier it becomes. That's why so many young men stay stuck. Not because they're lazy, but because the world feels overwhelming. So you wait. You tell yourself you'll start when you're ready, when you feel confident, when you have everything figured out. But confidence doesn't come from knowing the path. It comes from starting before you're ready. One small step, then another. That's how identity forms. Not in a single moment, but through repeated movement. Here's the part almost nobody talks about. Most young men were never taught emotional language. They can feel sad, overwhelmed, anxious, but they can't name it. And if you can't name it, you can't manage it. So you bottle it up, you push it down, you distract yourself. It works for a while until it doesn't. That emotional backlog eventually turns into burnout, apathy, or that numb, disconnected feeling that so many men describe. You're not broken. You're untrained. Feeling lost doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're in the process of building yourself. Psychology is clear on this. Your 20s are not about having a perfect life. They're about exploring, adapting, failing, learning, and slowly becoming the person you're meant to be. If you feel directionless, start small. Choose one habit, one goal, one way to move forward. You don't need a complete map. You just need the next step. And with time, those steps become a path. A path becomes identity, and identity becomes purpose. So if you feel lost, that's okay. You're not supposed to have everything figured out. You're supposed to grow into it.